Master B, how are you?
Oh, what's up, dude? How you doing?
Not too bad, man. How are you doing?
Oh, just fantastic. Moving right along over here in the Northern California area. What's up with you, dog? I am excited to hear about your adventure over the weekend, man. Scott with a
Yeah.
K was just in here, dude. What do you got for me? How you doing? You recovering or what?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm recovering, man. Admittedly, and this is my own doing, but like I've got health things that I should have been more. I definitely kicked my own ass on Saturday. That's part of the like
Yeah.
realizing that your body can't necessarily do as much as maybe it used to do, even though it's nothing. It's just walking around and seeing dudes and stuff. Um, But yeah, it was a lot of fun, man. And I overheard you were talking to Yo-Yo Dine there. They were gonna break it down for you. Hard for you to visualize it, but he kind of nailed like they did it beautifully, man. And we'll probably say it a lot this evening. Probably one of the best things was showing up, and of course, like Tone came down. He and I were trying to kill some time. We ended up bumping into Caucasian Creations, which was pretty fucking
Mm,
cool. We ended up
nice.
hitting up this bookstore because it was free comic book day. We come out of there and we're like, well, I guess that's the venue because there's a fucking lineup of humans. Not like fucking, Taylor Swift lineup or anything, but there was a lineup around the fucking door coming out and down the sidewalk a bit. We're like, all right, hell yeah, that was good to see. Like, foot traffic was good. Like, everybody's in good spirits. Vaughn Fake Name is a fucking lunatic and drove halfway across here. Hit a snowstorm on the last like 2 nights coming down, of course, because
Of course.
Ontario. But yeah, man, it seemed everything was good. Kevy, dude, fucking hilarious. You've talked about how Kevy Coldcuts has that go-getter energy.
Mhm.
Everybody lands into town. Everybody's trying to kind of figure out where they're going to be meeting to eat, etc., all that fun jazz. Where's Kevy Coldcuts? No, there's another art show going on. Figures, well, I've got all my shit anyways. Why don't I table that? Tables a fucking event on the Friday before doing the weekend event at the Toronto Toy Riot. You're just like,
Nice. Nice.
you
What a
want to talk
maniac,
about
dude.
that? You always like we've said it a few times. That guy has that like new guy fucking drive, and prime example of it right there. Right, land into a brand new
Yeah.
city, and your mind's like, I could catch up with the homies. I'll see them all weekend. I better go do a
Mm,
table.
mm. Yeah.
God's sakes, man. So yeah, it was great. The team over at Toronto Toy Riot slash Plastic Outlaw Syndicate absolutely nailed it. They had tons of volunteers going around doing things. Yo-Yo Dine had his wife or partner completely enslaved at one of the tables doing things, and just brilliantly done, dude. When you first like kind of you had two choices because it was basically like a figure eight the way that it was set up, so you had kind of two choices how you wanted to enter the event. But on the left, like your eye naturally gravitated there, and so you head to the left if you wanted, or you leave coming out that left side. But they had like a merch table, like they've
Mm.
been discussing. $35 gets you the shirt, a tote bag, and one of those limited edition sets with the Yo-Yo Dine
Oh,
exclusive
nice.
Godzilla with a fucking little CN tower for $35 Canadian. You're just like, damn, dudes. Like, how do you not have people wanting to grab that? It was funny. Even like the last day, Angry Beast all of a sudden walks over because I'm just sitting there chilling. He walks over and he's got his little tote and he's like, "I was there, Toronto Toy Riot." You're just like, "Yeah, we
Dude,
see it."
three great items to give away, dude. Everybody loves a shirt. Those things were a hit. Those are super
Dude,
rad, dude. And what a
what
very
a hit!
cool, yeah, dude. What a very cool yes, dude. Like that's a building in Toronto, correct?
It's the CN Tower building, yeah. So
Okay.
to have these be like a little limited edition set that you get, and to tie it in that for $35 a shirt, a tote, and a freaking robbery,
Well, dude,
robbery.
a tote.
You're robbing
Everybody
them,
needs a tote at
especially
events like that, dude. Oh my God.
at the toy show, especially, right? You're suddenly just like, well, this helps
Yes.
me because I'll tell you, and I'm sure you've been there too. How about a backpack? Stupid, stupid. Within moments you're in everybody's fucking way. And two, I had filled up I'd done a bunch of little ETs, drippies, etc. Filled up a bunch of like Toys Alive stickers, made a little fucking with those mailer bags, right?
Yeah.
Had
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
all organized in there. good luck though when you get talking to an artist actually reaching into your bag and pulling one of those out all of a sudden. So it's like even having the tote for that, you're just like, okay, now I can have the totes on one side, like my stuff on one side of this tote. I can have this anything I'm grabbing here, somebody's tossing to me on this side of the tote. Yeah, they did a great job, man. Obviously, the three brilliant minds came together to make it all kind of hit off. And hilariously enough, then like right after this weekend happened, I'm working at the old flower shop there. One of the
Mm.
first customers, I'm like, dude, I remember seeing you over at the show this weekend. His,
Oh,
his
nice.
wife, his wife was a vendor at the show. You're like,
Very cool.
fuck right off, man. Of
Yes,
course, right? So
yeah.
right away, and even while there, you know, because customer confidentiality. But while even there, you keep seeing these people. You're like, buy a weed from me.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
see you.
Nice,
So
dude.
yeah, no, they did a great job, man. And I'm excited to hear what they think were like some of the wins, some of the next year. Let's do this. I wasn't surprised when Yo Yo came by and was like, "We're doing a round two next year." Just like it was kind of like, well, I should fucking hope so. Like, even Sunday, it was kind of jokes. You don't want to be pessimistic, but Tone and I are having a quick little bite before we head over, and he was like, "So you think it's kind of at that point now where they're all doing the trades, seeing what's left and trading and picking?" And I was like, might be like that. You go in, nah, still buzzing, still brand new faces, not the same $50 passing hands, right? It was new faces and stuff. It was like, there we go. Fuck yeah, man. Like clearly did a
Yeah.
great job advertising, did a great job passing word of mouth. I don't know if it had to do with sorry, I keep cutting you off, please.
No, no, I was just gonna say, dude, I think that is, if I had to critique any of the shows that I've been to, it's that exactly what you're talking about, dude. It's that Sunday kind of mid to late morning till the rest of the
Mhm.
show where it really dies down. And I think they beat that totally, dude, by that free admission. And I know everybody can't do free admission, but I think what the free admission
Yeah.
does, it makes it very easy for you to come back, of course, because it's free, but then to tell people, and then you can say, hey, it's free, man, let's just go and check it out. Maybe there were people that were there on Saturday that came back on Sunday. But I thought
Could
that
be.
that was always a kind of a little caveat to it. Like, if you only buy a ticket for Saturday, what's going to bring you back on Sunday? Well, I know free
Yeah.
admission would, for sure, if you don't have to buy an additional ticket. But dude, I mean, it's so on brand with Canada. And I know we kind of joked about that before, but it is though, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's like just the whole show, from now looking at it from just a collector, non-artist standpoint, from someone that's out of the country. There better be around two. And I hope that we're not putting a number on it, like, oh, it's only going to happen a couple times, because I think the real draw for it for me is that a lot of those artists are not tabling in the United States at shows like AR and stuff like that. Toronto's so
Right.
heavily concentrated with artists that are just super big in the resin scene or vinyl scene or whatever we're talking about.
Yeah.
But to be able to go and see that in person in one spot, I mean, dude, I hope that just continues, to go on. But it's a very, like I said, dude, it just, the whole vibe from the get go was super super cool.
Yeah. No, very punk rock. It's weird, right? It's that punk rock done well. You know, it wasn't sloppy. It wasn't disorganized as punk as it was. It was very very well organized, man. And you could tell it took a lot of different people to make it pop off and work the way that it did. But I would still like I attribute it to those three individuals that Yo-Yo Dine and fucking Gray Skull and Doc Horror. In my mind, that's who I kind of attribute the foundation of it. But everybody made it great, man. And it was actually just wild to see who ended up coming up. Like King Spider Toys to Dot there ended up having him, his wife, and little one. And you're like, what the frick is this? The Sunday even, dude. Like, not to sound like a total creep, but I'm sitting there like half asleep. There's like this like little lobby area, and I'm just kind of half dozing off there. And over to your left, you just have like 6, 7 people, table packed at the Kish Bash table, just going hams, right? Ages
Nice.
ranging from like 5 to I would even say like 17, 18.
Hmm.
excluding, like, not even counting the parents, right? So they're all sitting there making them up, and you're just like, hell yeah, success right there too. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
well executed, man.
Yeah, dude, that's a, in some of those earlier shows at like Decon, what I really liked when like Kerfloss and DNS would table together and they did the sculpting tables and they had basically like do it yourself or
Yeah,
watch, and I think that, I think the coolest thing about that was seeing what age groups that brought into the booth, because you have both, right? You have the finished
yeah,
product, which is like a high end, very high end sculpted figure, that's probably for adults, but the process, the making it, that's when the little kids are getting involved and seeing how stuff is done, and you can kind of see the wheels start spinning. But yeah, that's
yeah.
another great feature, dude. A kit bash table. That's awesome, man. That's very cool.
I really wasn't sure how that was going to go, to be honest with you. I was like, I was a little bit nervous in my brain, thinking, is it going to garner interest? Because we think of some of the compassions we see, right? And this is no disrespect to it, but the issue is like you can't do like wax casting on the spot for people, because you're going to
Right.
have somebody burn themselves, and somebody, it doesn't have longevity anyways. You can't do resin casting because you don't really have the equipment to all of a sudden be fucking setting everybody up in the room with the right ventilation, blah 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 blah. You go to the kit bashing table and you're like, well, you're not sanding, you're not able to nitpick, right? Because we're so used to the way that we would kit bash, or we see like somebody like Ocular Rhombus kit bash. But that's where, again, it was fun to see these people still make something, get excited about it, want to put it on the backer. You're like, okay, fuck yeah,
Mm.
man. Like you said, it gets the gears going. At least they're seeing how, like, oh, this is how this works. This is how this happens, and they leave the show with something like that they can understand, you know. It was one of those interesting things where, like, there was one individual, um, you could almost tell that their work was definitely going to be of a very much higher sales point, so he was just sculpting.
Mm.
So it was almost kind of sick, because it was kind of just like, well, in one, there's not really a point in you standing there all day being like, want to drop $200. It's like, no, you're occupying yourself with something that's going to make you potentially a sale down the way, anyways,
Mm.
and it's going to open up conversation with anybody who's curious what you do, how you do it. So it was kind of like, smart, yeah, great way of doing this. Von Fake Name was fucking jokes, man. He's sitting here, he's throwing hair on his trolls last minute, like, he and I were still doing a little bit of crafting on the Friday, because he showed up a little bit before the show, and he was still putting the hair on his trolls and stuff, and making them all done up, and it's just kind of jokes, man. It was a fun group of humans.
Yeah,
Yeah, dude.
looked like
This,
it. Yeah, I was just going to talk about that. Yeah, for sure, man. Um, yes, that's all I can say about that. Yes,
yes.
yes.
And yeah, I don't know, dude. We'll get into it afterwards. We'll save that for like the second half of the show and stuff. Talking about what a dope set of humans, even that were there, are. You want to pull Grace Call? You want to chat a little bit? What have you been up to this weekend? Before we pull these boys in here, these fine gentlemen. Sorry.
Nothing much, man. Nothing much. Just chilling. Moving along, dog. That's all I'm doing. I was very jealous this weekend. I was I was having a fun time watching. You know what's trippy, dude? Is whenever because you and I, we only see each other like this, right? Chest up, here we are. You see me every now and then. I see you like I've seen like the whole you like twice, right? So when I see you in line, and we're talking, this is going on like 6 years now, right? So when I see you in line and walking, dude, I'm like, oh, it's a little bit surreal, dude. It's not like seeing you in person, but I'm just like, oh shit, he is a fucking real. Look at that, real human boy. Check that out.
I'm a real being. It was
You're a
actually
real
kind of
being.
jokes, man, and there's like, in all the most respect ever, but I'm with Tone. We're standing at the light, and we're shooting the shit, and this dude's kind of looking at me, and I'm kind of like, the fuck this guy want? Because Toronto, with all the respect in the world, like, yes, Canadians are nice, but you get to certain parts of Toronto that, yeah, someone's looking at you, weird. You start to kind of get like the stank, right? You're kind of like, the fuck you want? And then, and funniest thing next, I see you on my TV every week. I'm like, Sick, dog. You're gonna have to let me know who you are, my man. I'm so sorry. So it ends up being Caucasian Creations. Beautiful fucking
Oh,
human
nice,
being. He
dude.
ends up joining Tone
Yeah,
and I over to go to the bookstore and stuff.
nice.
But man, yeah, definitely one of those comical moments where it's like Kate Alvarado nailed it. We're all seeing each other's art most of the time. A lot of these accounts, they're sharing their art. It's kind of rare that we're seeing the humans behind it. And it is a little comical sometimes. Like, and I'm gonna sound so fucking racist here, but Sadat, I knew it was you because the rest were all basically gonna be a bunch of nerdy white dudes. So I was like, all right, Sadat's coming to town, like, not gonna miss him, right? With all the respect and love in the world, my dude. But then with somebody named Caucasian Creations, well, that's like 70% of the people that were there.
Good luck with that.
So yeah, I didn't necessarily know what to expect with that, but no, beautiful, beautiful human being.
Yeah, dude, I have met Sadat in person too. He did come down to a I believe it was in Vegas. I might have met him twice now, but I know there was one in Vegas. But yeah, dude, super super fucking cool, dude. Caucasian Creations too, man. We got talking the other day, and we started talking about just like it was so cool, dude. It went into like probably late 90s, early 2000s hip hop, just like little subgenres of hip hop, like Memphis and Texas and people in particular like Devin the Dude. We were going back and forth, dude. It's like, damn. I haven't had conversations like that about music in a long time, dude, just because I don't really know too many people besides, the guys out here that still listen to that stuff. But it was great conversation, dude. Really cool.
Well, and isn't that funny, the overlap that we're always talking about? It's like, what did we do while we're waiting for the toy show? Three of us ended up going looking at graphic novels and comics at the bookstore. It's
Hell
like,
yeah.
yeah,
Nice.
of course, right? You're
Yeah,
like, oh,
for sure.
top floors, but whole way you're just leaving little fucking pamphlets for the Toronto Toy Riot on random tables of books. You're like, oh, I'm just gonna leave one of these here and leave one of those there. You're like, if you're already made it up this far and you're looking at comics, you might be interested in crossing the street and checking this out.
No
All
kidding.
right,
For free.
are we at that point that we pull these gentlemen in?
For sure. Do you want to say what's up to the crowd, or would you like me to do
Oh,
it?
okay, yes. Quickly say hi to the homies in the.
Quickly say hi. Gray Skull Toys. What up? You are in the waiting room. What up? FKD, you just hit 1,000 followers. Congrats, my dude. 8-Bit Mike, what up? Slightly Adrift. What's up, my dude? Poke Toys, what's up? Mr. Ordinary, what's up? Bootleg Toy Code, Jazz Wiz, Bliss Receptor, T&D, Headcase, Kevy Cold Cuts, just talking about you. Recycle Galaxy, Felcher T Sandwich. What's up, dude? Dre, what's up, dog? Doc Horror, my guy. Who else? Man, Wisco Wraith, what's up? Folklore, Sadat. Scrolling. The chat is on fire tonight.
Hey, is Wisco right? Is that Wisconsin custom crafts?
Wisco Wraith. Don't know. Good question. I never put that together. If that's true, I'm not quite sure. Yes. Bam. There it is. Well, that makes me feel good because I don't know if he caught when we were talking about his product a couple weeks ago, dude, and we put those stickers up that were in like the baseball card sleeves. Those were sick, man. Super cool. Ashley K. Alvarado, what's up?
You gents ready?
Let's do it, man.
I caught it. I know where you were going.
All right.
Gentlemen, how are you?
Hello, hello.
Well, we'll get that off of Gray Skull's face
Hello.
there. All right, so before we get all chiming away and going on, tell those of us who have no idea what the heck went down this weekend. Why are you guys here?
Jay, what was it?
It was just a little event, little toy show that we had going on in Toronto on the weekend. Had a couple people show up, a couple friends, and yeah, it was a riot.
There you go. That guy's
was a
been
riot.
saying that for so long. I was like, I thought you'd get it out right away.
I'll make it good one day.
Yeah, it. I mean, when I came up with the name, right, it was about punk aesthetics. I didn't think that the energy in the room would be reflective of the name as much as it was. Like it was crazy. It was crazy. I think we're still processing. It's only
Fair.
been a couple of days. Yeah, I spent the day yesterday just playing a Ninja Turtles video game on my couch all day. So now I'm starting to catch up.
So what's the initial reaction after the show, man? I mean, I know there was the huge build up, and you talked about kind of all the stuff that you were needing to do to get ready for the show. But once that show is over, I mean, what's the first thing you go to reflect on?
I think for us it was how did the vendors feel, or what did they think about the event? So, I mean, we got lots of positive feedback from everybody in the room through the whole weekend. And so much so that I think by like 3 o'clock on Saturday, we had already decided that we were doing 2027. It was just like that fast. It was like, holy shit, yes. But so what we did today is we actually sent out a survey to everybody who was at the show asking for feedback. And so far, there's nary a complaint. There's a couple of good, like, little minor tweak suggestions, but otherwise, everybody seems like totally happy with what happened.
Now, Suki's bringing up a good point. They were curious, sorry, about with free entry. Did you guys end up tracking attendance at all, or did you have a metric for that, or did you just kind of eyeball it out?
You just guess, well, a rough estimate. I mean, it was probably, it's hard to say, because on Saturday, I would say with the vendors at any given time, most of the day there was probably like, I don't know, somewhere between 20 and 30 patrons cycling through the room at any given moment, right? So people are coming in and out. It's 7 hours. So I would say that we probably, on day one, I would say it was probably over 500 people who came through. Day two, it's probably maybe a little bit less. I think that we probably hit like just under 1,000 for the weekend. Which, you know, I think that's right. But yeah, it's not like with everything else going on, just having someone with like a little thingy at the door just didn't make sense. So, you know, I think the numbers at the end of the day don't matter so much as the energy and whether or not the artist felt supported and whether or not they felt that people were interested. And there were several people who do a lot of other markets in Toronto, and they said Saturday alone was the best they had ever done anywhere in the city. So, so that, like, that's a win right there for sure.
Honestly, I know Vaughn Fake Name has come down before, and they've talked about other shows. There's somebody who vends a lot, different cities as well, and they've mentioned that like nothing makes them more angry, I guess, is when it seems like nobody was actually advertising for the show.
Yeah,
they seemed really stoked on the turnout and the advertising for the show. And in my brain, it's like if you can please Vaughn Fake Name with that, like you're doing something right, for sure, for sure.
Well, if you're throwing a show, it's your primary responsibility to promote it. And what is promotion? It is how you support the artists and get people in the room, right? That was probably the thing I honestly was the most, I don't know, I don't want to speak for you, Jay, but like...
Yeah, no, that was a worry, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it was a real, like, is this, like, not even is this sustainable, but like, is this something that people will be interested in, and how do we let them know about it while reducing every barrier possible? Like you were saying at the head of the show, Brian, the free admission thing, right?
That definitely
that aligns, I think, with our values of accessibility. But more than that, even $5 could mean the difference between someone coming in and not, right?
Absolutely.
And so just take it away and then find other ways to generate some income for the organizers. And we did that with the Kit Bash table because DKE generously donated their backers and clamshells. All the figures just came from all the shit that we weren't using. I had a full spare like rainbow palette of like acrylic paints in my studio that I don't use. So just use those and just use what we have. right?
Yeah.
And I think that, yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I'm still processing. We're glowing. Behind Jay is literally glowing, but I think within there is a glow that I've just been feeling for days. Yeah.
How do you gauge, with the survey that you send out, was that just to the vendors?
Yes.
Yeah.
So with the crowd, I mean, just by the, just besides the size and kind of attendance of the crowd, um, I mean, I guess it's pretty easy to say if it was a success or not, man. I mean, obviously it was. What's the, God, I don't want to jump too far ahead, dude, but I mean, I thought you mentioned something the other day about coming back in 27.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, indeed.
Indeed,
Indubitably,
okay.
sir.
There's an appetite for it in Toronto for sure, and it was evident for sure. The energy was really good. I don't know. So Doc Hoare and I were manning the Outlaw Plastic Syndicate table at the entrance to the big room, and there was at least a dozen or a couple dozen people that came through, just walk-ins off the street, that had no idea what it was. They're like, "What the hell is this?" So we gave them the brief rundown, and it was really cool seeing them, walk around the room, check stuff out, and then leave with a bag full of stuff. So it was that was one of the one of the highlights for me, was seeing people who had no idea what was going on come in and leave with a bunch of cool shit.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that. Like, honestly, I remember, again, day 2, sitting in the little lobby area, and some gentleman coming out with his partner, and he's staring at his Edwin Salas fucking Skeletor wood carved piece, and he's like playing with the sword, he's putting it in and moving the arm, and you're just kind of like, fuck yeah, man. Like, that's one of those pieces that, like, you're not sure how it's going to go in a market like Toronto or something, and then to see someone come out just like looking like a kid staring at something brand new, and it's just like, fuck yeah, dude. Do you think having all the different styles you guys did kind of helped with the audience flow?
Absolutely,
yeah,
for sure. Yeah, absolutely. And there was a lot of like, I don't know, serendipitous things that happened where, I mean, we had, the vendor mix we had was fantastic. We had people in all kinds of media, a bunch of resin for sure, but there was, like Edwin was doing wood, there was knitted, there was clay, there was, sculptures, there was metal work, there was plushies, there was Sufubi, there was, a wide range. But I mean, those were the artists that wanted to show up too. So I mean, we there was a lot of things that just really fell into place. Again, definitely we tried our best to make it as accessible and promoted as possible. But there was a lot of great things that just kind of seemed to fall into place for us too, which definitely helped.
Yeah, I think a big part of that was the expansive definition of art toy that we chose. So one of the things that Doc Hoare and I had done earlier in the winter was we went to a bunch of other markets to just see what people were making. And several people who worked in like crochet and like Sculpey and polymer clays and stuff, we invited them to apply and they did. And then we accepted them. So I think there was like, there was a good diversity across the board of practices that really struck me. Like I said to somebody, like, walk into that room and show me 2 pieces on 2 tables that are even remotely alike in this room. And, you would be hard pressed to do it. Like, yes, there were, artist made action figures or whatever, but, in abundance, but they were also different, right? That I really loved that about it. And I think that the variety of work that we had there, and I feel like we had so many more newcomers at a show than I've experienced at a dedicated like designer art toy show, that there had to be everybody knows plush work, right? Like everybody has had plushies at some point in their lives. And Yeah, I think that we just managed to sort of hit a very, very broad array of interests. Like literally from, yeah, like Jay said, from plush to like Japanese made sofubi. And yeah, I just, sorry, I'm like, something happened when I'm the one who's at a loss for words. But I think that like, yeah, one of the things too with the kit bash table, Crumbs, you were talking about it. Like we got a lot of feedback actually from like patrons of the event, and there was one person who I sort of know in another like creative community in Toronto who was there, and I was like, hey, I know you, but you don't know me, and I like your work. And he had brought his kid, and he and I started, and his kid was kit bashing, and we were talking about it, and he was like, this is the best idea. He said there's an entire parents group that I'm a part of, who all homeschool their children because they're on the spectrum and they're not supported in the education system. And this is the perfect thing for them because it gets them into a space where they can focus on something while still actually being in a very, very social environment, but have that thing that allows them to like channel their energy and creativity. And he said, it's phenomenal. I'll be back. I'm going to tell other people to come back, bring their kids. Like, that was the beautiful thing about it. They're literally from 6 to 60, but I would say actually there were even older there. Like it was like from 6 to like 80 years old. There were people in that room.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody got to meet my dad. Everybody got to meet Jay's dad too, actually.
Dude, Jay's dad's the best, dude.
Legend.
Jay's dad's a fucking legend, dude.
Yeah. My dad walked around and like met everybody and asked them how they were doing and was like, I'm Scott's dad. And I was like, it was really cute. And the other thing I really liked that we did that I thought was really positive, Crumbs, you were talking about that front area in the living room with the comfy chairs and the coffee table. Like having a space where people like can, and I mentioned this last week before the show, like just having a little bit of space where people can just like chill out and maybe spend more time in this space, I think really helped too. Yeah.
Now, B, you can't know, so I'm just gonna do this because I'm whipping this up real quick while we're chatting. But this was kind of like the layout of the show, my friend. So you come in here, let's say, right, and you walk in this little entrance area, and right away, like I was saying, like to your left, this would have been where like there's a kit bash station over here, and you'd have like the community table right there. You end up having all the merch and stuff right there. When you first come right in this part, you literally have the Outlaw Plastic Syndicate table like right freaking there. As soon as you come in, vendors all around here, and then vendors in the middle as well.
Nice.
So like you're literally like you're coming in, you're just doing the full rotation, both ways, the whole way across. Your eyes are just fucking bouncing like a ping pong ball. And you're coming around this little corner turn here. And like I was saying, either you come in and you're like, ooh, maybe I'll start here, or you're just squeezing out here. And what are you doing the moment you've just done all this and you've seen all this fun shit? Well, that was cool. I want to grab a shirt and a toy and a bag on my way out. And oh, neat, what's going on over here? Or on your way in. It was, the venue worked really well for what you guys were doing.
Choose your own adventure.
Sorry, go ahead, Jay.
Oh, just choose your own adventure. That's what it was.
Yeah. It's just like, do you take the left path or the right path? Right, just like in those old RPGs. Yeah.
So was it packed up as far as, did you have any extra room for tables? And the reason I asked that is because, I mean, obviously it was super successful, and it sounds like it could probably be even bigger next year once people start seeing it come around again and they remember it from this year. That being said, and you probably you haven't got to this point yet, man, but have you thought about making it larger at all next year, or is it going to kind of remain the same for a while? And that's why I was asking about the tables, man. Did you even have room for any more tables in there?
No, not. There's no. Yeah.
How do you get that?
We're not allowed. Yeah, there was a conversation that if we had pulled some tables back a little bit on one side where we had a couple of extra feet, we may have been able to squeeze another 6-footer on the other part of the corner. but it also would have cut off our access to the green room, which is where we had a bunch of stuff stored. So
Gotcha.
in terms of, we've already talked about it for next year, and people are like, you know, are you going to grow this? And I said, well, I think the smart thing to do is to do it twice in the same place to make sure it's not a fluke, right? Make sure we can pull it off again in the same way. And then if there is a big, and also like for our first year, we put out a call for submissions, and we literally had enough like the exact number of vendors that we had space for applied. So we didn't say no to anybody.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so that was a really good feeling, because you're like, we got to include everyone, huzzah, right? We know now that if people want to travel up for this show, that might not be the case, but I would make the radical gesture and suggest, all right, all of you who had 6-footers, like, time to share maybe, right?
Yeah.
And then the individual costs like go down for everybody as well, because you would be splitting those costs, and I think that would be really great. And then we could get more people in the room that way. But venues are tricky and difficult. I've been hearing about some other big cons that have been happening recently, and needless to say, the predatory pricing practices of some of venues specifically is really awful. And the Transact aligns, again, you know, I've been saying this thing about accessibility and aligning with values. Like, this building is an organization that's a nonprofit that's been around since 1971 to support the arts. All the staff is part-time and volunteer run. They have like a board of governors. You know, on the second floor of the building is the Toronto Zine Library, and they actually, I had messaged them and said they're volunteer run, and I messaged them very early on and said, hey, this is when we're doing the show. If you guys want to be open for the weekend, you could get some good foot traffic. And it turns out I spoke to the volunteer on Sunday before she left, and she was like, yeah, we had tons of people through. It was great. So, you know, all of that together, I think means that this is like a really good home for the idea of what Toy Riot is. And then later, if there seems to be interest and demand, we could talk about relocating. But I mean, I don't know. I'm an if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of guy, right? Like, there's nothing wrong with having a small show. There's nothing wrong with choosing to do something that's sustainable instead of grow, right? That's the American economic model, grow or die. We live in the Socialist Republic of Kanakistan. But, you know, again, yeah, sorry to ramble about politics there, but I think that's kind of what we've been thinking, is that like I don't want to rent the Toronto Convention Center. You know what I mean? The further away it gets from being hands-on as an organizer, the less comfortable I actually am with it. Maybe that just means I'm a micromanager and I like to control things. I'm not sure, but
the whole
Well, I think
thing
when you're talking about those other venues, and larger venues, man, I think there's so much other stuff that's involved, especially when you're paying for it, and then you get other stuff like food and drink involved in some of the places, and security and all kinds of crazy shit, man. That's the one thing that I really like about that aspect of the smaller venue, is that typically, especially from what you're talking about, where it sounds like it's kind of a very welcome thing that people are looking for, saying yeah, and then kind of stepping out of the way and letting you do your thing, man. I think that's and you're right, dude. Nothing wrong. How many vendors did you have there?
30.
See, I think 30 vendors, that's a good size show, man. I think for what, I mean, that's assembly required in Asheville when it was at the Gray Eagle. You know, when you did that layout, I kind of got that Gray Eagle feeling, except for when you walk in, you're like directly in that little hallway already. But yeah, you walk in and it's kind of lined, and then you have the extra space in the middle there. But that's a good size show, man. I mean, I think for the stuff that we do, or you know, for this community, that's 30 tables from this community is good. That's a solid one.
And some of those tables too are multiple people, right? Like we donated that table to the OCAD Plastic Studio Club, the students, and there were, I think, 8 or 10 different students who were involved with that table and were selling work as well. And their display was like phenomenal. They actually made these beautiful fluorescent orange curved hand cut acrylic display shelves. And they rocked it. But yeah, if the vibe of the Great Eagle, when I went there to Asheville is, I think Matt, I don't think Matt's watching right now, but I think that he would probably agree because he was also here. It definitely had that feeling, to me anyway. And, that was my first in-person assembly required when I went to the Great Eagle. And I like the new space, but, those smaller kind of intimate shows can be really special too.
Yeah, I think that's one of the, the thing for me that I think was the drawback. And you tell me, I don't know how the venue was there, but if people were coming to stay the night and stay there, I mean, the Great Eagle was a tough. That was a tough venue for a couple reasons, man. It was in that kind of hilly terrain, so I don't think there was a lot of foot traffic. There was a lot of construction at the time. You remember they were building that big apartment, and that whole other kind of backside was all under construction, so the parking was fucked. It's not in a row of places where you're going to go, like, you're going to go there, you're going to have to drive there, and you're going to have to park. Well, if the parking's fucked up, then you're going to have to park far away, and then you have to walk to it. And I think that was all stuff that was probably working against them. The thing that I liked about the new venue was that a lot of people were staying at that hotel.
That was great. Yeah,
you can walk up and drop your shit off and then come back down and all
they're
that.
very different. And I think that like foot traffic is a really important part. And
Huge.
The neighborhood that Toy Riot is in is called the Annex, and it's actually like a really thriving little kind of village-ish strip that has a lot of weekend foot traffic. And again, like Crumbs was saying, I didn't realize it was Free Comic Book Day, but the fact that there were 2 comic book stores across the street from one another, like around the corner, I think also really helped us because we had Dominic built sandwich boards. So we actually, because the venue was down the street a little bit from the corner, so we had a sandwich board at the corner with bright fluorescent pink Bristol board arrows saying go this way. And then when you look down the street, you could see the other sandwich board with the same arrows pointing into the venue. So we had really good wayfinding for foot traffic. And I think that
the 2 best subway stations. Like, let's be real, Bathurst and Spadina, like, perfect stations to be able to get off at. Lots happening at both.
They're the 2 closest subway stations on that subway line, and regardless of which one you get off, it's a 5-minute walk to the venue because it's basically in the middle between them.
Even admittedly where you guys were, Tone Time and we mapped it out. If you wanted, you could in 25 minutes go from Bathurst to the show to Chinatown to Kensington and Graffiti Alley, all 25 minutes on foot.
Yeah.
So it's like,
and that's the thing about growth as well. If we wanted to move it, we're moving further out into a non-central part of the city.
After what you're describing, I'm thinking, why would you want to move, man? I mean, that sounds like an incredible setup. I don't know why you'd want to move unless you just wanted to like blow the doors off and have it like double the amount of vendors at some point. But what a perfect setup, man.
I would worry that we'd also have the amount of attendees, and then I wouldn't want to do that, right?
Sure. Micah made a good comment. Small show, more love, and that's true.
Yeah.
It's by artists for artists kind of show. So keeping it punk seems to be the formula that works.
But what's funny is you're saying for artists by artists, and meanwhile Yo-Yo Done, I saw you end up having a huge fucking pile of Donut Hustler stickers, and I saw that day one too. So it was like, it wasn't even, because when you say that, I think people get worried that it's like same $20 passing hands. It's not like that. No. It's like the artists from Toronto are like, oh fuck yeah, not random 3D printed dragons and not commercial toys.
I was thinking about getting into those though.
Hey, I mean, if you want to take them to the next level, sand them down, coat them in resin.
Actually sand them? What?
I've heard those filament layer lines there.
Thank you for bringing that up, because I always freak out when I see that shit. I get so angry. I'm like, finish your fucking work. Anyway, yeah, and like, you know, I had a thought. So the smaller the show, the greater the love. So at near the end of the final day on Sunday, I was talking to one of the vendors, and she works with Sculpey, right, which you have to heat in the oven. And you know, when I asked her, like, how was the show for you? How you doing? And she's like, well, you know, this is the first time I've done a 2-day show, and I really like doing 1-day shows. This is actually really tiring. And I'm like, I understand, but there's a reason why this is a 2-day show. And then she breaks into this story as we're talking about how another vendor in the space, because they were having a conversation about Sculpey and how sometimes, because their work has like some thinner pieces and heavy bodies, so like while you're curing one part, the other part might get brittle and crack and stuff. And so someone suggested to them, maybe you should try using a heat gun. That's what I do when I use those heating clays. And then she pulls out a heat gun and says, and today this person brought me their old heat gun. This is someone who they had never met before. And I said to her, I said, you just proved my point about why having a 2-day show for artists is important, right? Like that moment, that generosity, that is the thing that everyone in this community that I spend time with is like. You know, my rotocasting machine that I'm still working out the bugs on to do a project with this summer, like, was the result of having a casual conversation with Zymot when we stopped at his studio to hang out with him for a while on the way back from Philadelphia last year. You know, like, and so, yeah, that, I always want to maintain that. I always want to maintain a sense of care. We were talking about how very Canadian the show was, Brian. We had Tim Hortons Coffee and Timbits, the iconic Canadian breakfast junk food for the artists when they arrived on Saturday.
Perfect.
We had, we went around and made sure that everybody had bottles of water several times a day. We ordered pizza originally for the volunteers, but we realized that the grant funding that we had meant that we could actually like share it with the vendors and just be like, hey guys, you're stuck behind a booth for 7 hours today, go grab a slice of pizza, you know, because we know what it's like being on the other side of that table and not being able to get away. And so those little things you can't do. I don't think it's harder. It's not that you can't do them, but it's much harder to do them because the picture gets so big. Jay knows, like, the first 3 hours of the show, I was running around like crazy just trying to finish pricing my stuff on the OPS table, get back to the merch table to help my friend Brandy go over, who was volunteering all weekend, go over everything. You know, get people situated at the kit bash table. You know, they talk about putting out fires. Literally, this happened. One of right when I'm just about finished the 1,000 things I've been trying to do since noon, a comic book artist and illustrator in Toronto that I know came and was at the kit bash table, and we had a hairdryer set up so you could dry paint faster. And
this sounds like a good beginning to the story.
And he's smoking, and he's like, "This just caught on fire." And I was like, and so I grabbed it and I just went outside and like threw it on the ground and immediately just sat down and had a cigarette. I was just like, oh. But it made me realize that when you work in a studio where you're sanding resin and sometimes do flocking, maybe make sure there's no dust in your hair dryer.
Good tip.
I hadn't used it in a while.
Good
so
tip.
Literally had to put out a fire. But yeah, so that was like the chaos of the first few hours, and then I just sort of settled in, and yeah, we did a yeah, we made sure that everybody was like doing well.
Yeah.
You know, and kept checking in and stuff. So, yeah, important.
Yeah, it's gosh, dude. And anytime that we say that, it's not that the shows out here, don't do stuff like that, but it just seems that like with the, super nice Canadian vibe that just lines up so much, dude. And I think, we always talk about this, dude. A good majority of people that watch the show are artists, and then a lot of people that go to those shows are artists, and so I like that, man. For artists by artists. I think there's a lot when you start looking into that makes that show what it is, because you understand what it's like to be at a show, what artists are looking for, what they're not looking for, what works and what doesn't work. But
yeah, and we had some like vague offers of sponsorship that would have meant more commercial kinds of presence in the show, and we said thank you, but no. Because that's not what this show is, right? Like,
you got to go into more detail about that one, because now I'm intrigued. I'm just like, what does that even mean?
It just means that somebody who runs a business related to designer toys wanted to offer us sponsorship in exchange for a presence for objects, for like blind box stuff, and like commercial, like mainstream, like commercial designer, like blind box toys.
Amazon was going to buy us up.
Yeah.
What's that?
Amazon was going to buy us up.
Yeah. We're the next Whole Foods.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, talk about knowing the room, dude. That's and
it would have been a very different presence. I think that would have done something that we were just Doc was saying it in the chat, like it just didn't align with what we were thinking about. And we did take some interesting choices with some of our vendors. Like Level 1313 is this incredible independent vintage store here in Toronto in the basement of this like kind of old derelict mall in Chinatown. There's also another great business in there called Anime City, run by a guy named Julio, who's also super rad. And they all know each other and stuff. So Hayden and Hunter, they run this store. And it's like toys, clothes, like there's like a fingerboard skate park on a table in the back. Like it's super fun space. And they've also decorated the store so it looks like an in-universe Star Wars store.
It's awesome.
It's awesome. And Jay and I worked with them. I 3D printed a digital sculpt that they had made of a prototype for their first art toy they wanted to make. And then Jay took my prototype and ended up doing all the casting and painting, and then they did the packaging. So they had their own indie toy there, but also their table was mostly vintage toys and like interesting stuff. There you go. Look at you, Crumbs. You are on it, man. So it's called the Man in the Window because they have a mannequin dressed like that in the window of the store. And so if you're ever in Toronto, it's a really great place. So we invited them because we think that even with the selection of curated vintage toys, that's something that the toy makers would really enjoy. They even had a little bin of like bits and pieces to sell to artists who just wanted parts, and then later gave us that bin when we started running out of parts at the Kish Bash table. They were just like, do you want these? And I was like, wow, yeah, they're really great. It's a really fun place. So, beyond the range of like indie makers, like supporting like some local indie businesses, not as sponsors, but as like real partners, I think was also like, this is about partnership. Like we're not, the three of us in the way that we run this, nothing happens without unanimous consent unless I just go ahead and do something and tell them about it later. Which sometimes happens. But we view being in partnership with everybody. We all make the event. The three of us, do a bunch of other stuff leading up to it, but everybody who is there makes an event.
Yeah, we really lucked out with a lot of support from the community too. Again, like you guys pumping us up, Cactus, Toys in the Basement.
Oh shit! Yeah, we got to talk about Cactus.
Yeah, go for it, Scott. Go for it.
So, Brian, one of the ways that you probably got to see a lot of the show was with a micro toy influencer and collector here in Toronto on Instagram, Toys in the Basement, goes by the name Cactus.
Yeah.
Dude is MVP. MVP from this fucking weekend, man.
Oh my God, dude. And I'll tell you, I'll even be transparent about some numbers on traffic on our Instagram just to show you, like, it's him, because I didn't have time to do it. Like, I shot that first video of everybody walking in, and that was like the last thing I shot online, like, for the whole fucking show.
Dude, I kid you not. I was showing my girlfriend this dude's page and videos just last night, going, this is what B and I need to be doing. This is how you go to a toy show. Because dude, this guy had the fucking little
on his
thing.
phone.
He was on it, man. He was on it, dude.
Yeah, he had a gimbal. He had wireless Bluetooth mics. And so he went around. So the first thing that happened is that he messaged us and said, "Hey, I want a Toy Riot t-shirt," well before the show. And I met up with him. And then I said, and then he was telling me that he does all this media production work and that he'd be interested in helping support the show. And we had a conversation. And that conversation ended up manifesting first in an interview with Doc Horror in his studio, an interview with Lab Monkey, and then an interview with me down at OCAD, one of the universities I teach at. And then he said, yeah, I'm going to come to the show and do interviews and do, like, record videos and produce content all weekend for you. I was like, cool. And I expected like a few videos, you know. He interviewed almost everybody in the show, almost all the vendors, in these like well-cut micro interviews. He showed me how he had built graphics templates that he could just drag and drop and do quick cuts and get them online. Like, he streamlined the process long before he ever even showed up at the venue. And he is he is one of the champions of this show for us. He made us look good. He made us look so good that Saturday alone, our Instagram had 35,000 unique views, and Sunday it was 33. For an account that had at the time like 600 followers, that's pretty ridiculous. It was incredible. Like, there was a lot of attention there, and it's all credit to him. Like, we can't take credit for any of that.
Dude. That's how I watched it. I mean, I saw one video, and then I was like, "Oh, cool, a video." And then I went to his page because honestly, I'm like, "Who is this guy?" And then so I go to his page, and then I'm like, "Holy shit, dude!" There was like, and you're right, dude. They're perfect. They're short, little 1 to 2 minute artist. How you doing? Here's what they got. Moving on. You know what I mean? I mean, it was legit, dude. I think I watched probably at least 15 of those in a row before I took a break.
Yeah, he did 17 artists on day one.
That's crazy. That's crazy, dude. I mean, and it's crazy because I know when you get into those shows, dude, like the amount of time you can, that really just flies by. You know what I mean? With when you're there talking to people, then you're moving on. You're just like, holy shit, dude, I was just over there talking to them for 30 minutes. And then you're only 2 tables in, and it's like, how do you have time to do? Are you going to do a live? It's like, fuck, I don't know, dude. It's like, I either do a live or not talk to half the people here. You know, it's hard. I got this shit to buy for people. It's like, it's a mess. But
he came to work, man. He came to work. We set him up. We had a little charging station set up for him in the comfy chair area so he could chill out and edit and get him up. Him, and also Toy Art Ventures. She was there on Sunday and did a bunch of stuff for us as well, and like help cover the merch table for a while at the end of the day. The other champion of the show. Sorry, what's that?
Well, just a lot of support. Urban Ninja doing a lot of postering for us, along with you and Doc as well. Like, like a lot of grassroots kind of.
Yeah, people from different communities. Yeah, Urban Ninja Squadron, who's a local does like these like cartoony ninja wheat pastes and stickers all over the city, was like, you guys want help postering? I go out all the time. So there's going to be Toronto Toy Riot posters from this year that you're going to see bits and pieces of on like mailboxes for the next 2.5 years, which is great because we use staples and tape. He was like wheat pasting for us.
Dude, I was going to ask you what kind of marketing that you did out in the streets just ahead of time.
Doc Horror and I went on a number of like postering excursions, and then like in my neighborhood is in the east end of Toronto is a very foot trafficked area with wooden telephone poles, and it's my house. Like basically, whenever I walk to the studio, I have to walk down the main strip, so I would just throw them up, and then of course someone from the city would take them down, and then a couple of days later I just put more up again. So, and we also went out and posted a couple of times together. We sent out a lot of press releases and got some hits, but nothing from like local mainstream media, which was a bit surprising to me. But we did get support from like toyzday.
Doc had a lot of contacts. Doc Horror had a lot of contacts.
Yeah.
Even this one was funny. I went to go down to my local art store, and sure enough, there's one of the fucking posters right up in their window, man. And
yeah,
funny,
that was Dominic.
I put one up even in the flower shop that I work at, and then I put a bunch of stickers in the front. What was funny enough is, for whatever reason, people who like flowers also like stickers, man. I don't know what it is, and suddenly they're asking about the toy stuff and what's going on, and then you see them look at the flyer afterwards. And like I was even saying to B at the beginning of this, like oddly enough, not odd, a lot of the folks in the village also happen to be very creative individuals, have kind of roots in with this whole indie art and stuff. And I think even the fact Kevy did that event on the Friday, there was a drag show happening that night with some other like creative artists of like oddities and stuff like that. So even that kind of maybe got them interested in acquiring.
And speaking of like the idea of viewing everyone as partners, Kevy got into that show because Nick Undead Media, who runs Terroronto, was also a vendor at Toy Riot. And so, you know, we're all like, you know, as like sort of market promoters, although I wouldn't call Toy Riot a market. It's more of a con, I think, at this point. It has those vibes, but I don't know what word I would use. But so Nick just threw a thing in the artist group chat. Hey, I have extra space if anyone wants to, like, who's in Toy Riot wants to table at this event that, you know, I'm doing tonight, like, come on by. You know, that kind of view of partnership too with people who are other, I mean, Matt was there, right? You know, and we had a conversation too about how, like, clearly he was also trying to get people down to Asheville and Philly, and that's totally cool, right? Like, we're all like, get on the circuit, man. Like, get on the circuit. Like, look,
if you're enjoying this,
like,
exactly.
Well, and I think that's another one of the things, man. And I, you know, just from not even being an artist, but just kind of getting that little piece of networking in there too, man. I mean, let's be honest, dude. How often do we all see each other in person? Rarely, if ever, right? And it's like it's once or twice a year if you're lucky, man. You know, and and you probably got to travel, and it's. You know, I think it's when you're online, it's one thing, man. When you're on the phone, it's one thing, emails, text, whatever. But in person, you know, I think that's where a lot of you know, relationships are made, which can lead to really good business ventures, whether you're making money or not. You know.
Yeah, and collaborations. I mean, I've, you know, because of in-person stuff, like I've done one collaboration with Feigned, and we're working on another right now, and I've got another one in the pipe with somebody else. And you know, those like cross collaborations I think are really great. Knowledge exchange, right? Like all that stuff.
You can't beat the in-person, like those connections that are made. You can't buy that kind of, I don't know. You can't buy that. Like that's the best.
And the other thing that was priceless for me was the opportunity to, after a show, go home and sleep in my bed and cuddle with my cat.
Dude, I bet, man.
I know, Jay, you had to stay in a hotel because you live north of the city, but like, it was such a surreal experience after Saturday, coming home and just being in my own bed and not having to drive for, you know, stay in a hotel for 2 more nights and then drive home for 2 days, you know? So yeah, and also Sadat, I see you in the chat, dude. I can't believe how far away people came just to hang out at this show.
Yeah, that's huge. Having all the guys from the US show up again, then, because this is unproven, right? Like, this is just on a hey, we're doing a thing, and like General Porpoise showing up, Matt's showing up, like
Edwin,
something required, like Edwin, like that's crazy.
yeah, Tone Butter came in from New York, but like people who traveled to just be there. I'm not, the vendors, yes, absolutely. Thank you, everybody, and we hope to see you again, because it was great. It was great. It was great having Matt and Edwin there, because it was just like, oh, we get another opportunity to hang out, because I love both of those guys, right? And then, but like, yeah, Tone Twisted Tiger. I'm not sure what part of the U.S. they're in, but they were there. Florida. Okay, so Florida. Yeah. So that might take
he pops up all the time though, dude. He pops up at the most random places. It's just like, oh shit, dude, what's up? So I'm walking in a hotel in Asheville. He's like, hey, what's up? I'm like, hey, what's up?
yeah. Because I met him we met him in Asheville this past year. But so that was a surprise.
Super terrible, Ashley.
Yeah, Super Terrible Toys. Lauren and Ashley came from Chicago for the weekend, which was also awesome. The fact that you brought your wife and your infant child from Calgary to this show just to be there for a day and then go home, like, dude, like, like that's incredible. Like that.
I think Fun Fake Name is still driving home right now.
Fun Fake Name having the dedication to hop in his car and drive literally from the other side of the country just to be here.
If Von Fake Name, if you're watching this and you go back and watch, I was ready to strangle him Sunday night, my dude. I had asked him like 50 fucking times, what are your plans after the show tonight? Do you need a place to stay? And he kept dodging the question, right?
Yeah, he's a humble dude.
9:30 at night on Sunday, I get the text and I'm like, if you're coming, dog, I'm fading fast. You've got about an hour. These islands are shut. Please do not risk driving home. Please know that absolutely you are, but you got about an hour to get here. I'm falling asleep, my love. Like, but it reaches that point where you're just kind of like, if you're coming, come over here. Just tell me. Like, I know you're trying not to be a bother. I know you're trying to be super polite and nice, but I don't need you dying on the fucking highway home. Get the fuck over
for sure.
here.
I think that, I would just say this about Von Fake Name. He is so deeply driven by his passion for this stuff that everything else is expendable.
Dude,
and it's like, yeah, it's frustrating for those of us who are like, dude, take care of yourself. But also it's kind of beautiful. Like, I really like that about him. Like,
he arrived here
so much.
The moment he got here, right away, comes up with a box of things that he needs to still finish off. Like I said, he's pulling fucking hairs out, cutting it off, gluing troll doll hair on at my kitchen table while shooting the shit, talking about how day 1 he's gonna have these things, day 2 he's gonna have these things. He asking me where I can get things printed out, wondering if he should go. It's like, you just parked. Like, do you need to get something to eat? Do you need to get something to drink? Like,
everything.
He's pouring resin in his car on the way here. He's got his pressure pot going in the back seat.
I told him that. I told him, I was like, dude, we're all starting to think that you just travel with a pressure pot and you're casting shit in your trunk. And he's like, you guys actually think I do that? I'm like, we're talking about it. We don't know. You might.
All he has to do is stop at a gas station, drop a toonie in, and like use the compressor that they use to fill tires. Just a guy at the side of the road with a pressure pot making resin at the Petro-Canada in Saskatchewan.
He's a fucking gem, dude. Funny guy.
Yeah. And that's the thing, right? Like the thing about the unifying thing about everybody that was in that room, like artists and patrons included, is that like they understand that like toys are meaningful things. And if people were just sort of like, what is like an art toy, like Jay said, with the audience that we got, we did a lot of outreach, and there are a lot more people who understand what we do in the city that didn't a few days ago.
There was a surprising number of younger, I don't know, kids, I guess, or younger generation that came out that it was super cool seeing them at the Kit Bash table and seeing them walk around the floor afterwards with their pieces. And I was asked at least 3 or 4 times by the kid or the parents about like, how are you guys doing this stuff? And like, so it was really, really cool getting to see other people. I mean, it was all ages, but but it was really awesome getting to see people taking interest in it. And yeah, that was another highlight for me, was seeing that interest.
Yeah, Matt had the wise idea actually of bringing some molds and some blank casts inside of them to show I pour this and then I make this mold and then there you go. Yeah, that outreach is important, right? Like if we want this community to like sort of grow and sustain, like that's important, I think. Otherwise, I think it'd be largely generational, which would be very sad for me. Yeah.
So going forward for next year,
Mm-hmm.
what are probably like the top 3 things you guys hope or are aiming for to do this again next year and make it the same, better, etc.?
Okay.
I think we have a decent formula to capture some of this lightning in a bottle that happened. Some definitely listen to whatever vendor feedback and community feedback and things like that to make whatever tweaks and improvements and things that we picked up on. But I think the formula worked. Like again, we were very lucky again having like Cactus and the support from the community and other people chipping in, and just some magic happened for sure. But there was a lot of stuff that we did actually plan out that seemed to work out. So I don't know. Yeah, like Scott said earlier, it was, not broke, don't fix it. Like, I think there's a lot of stuff that just, I don't know, kind of worked out. So, I mean, yeah, we'll make some tweaks and adjustments, but try and have a good time.
Yeah, good times. Yeah. There were a couple of questions here in the chat that I just wanted to answer in person. FKD Toys is asking, we a hashtag for the kit bash table. We didn't, but I got a bunch of photos of stuff that people made, and when people posted their kit bash creations, a couple of them I got them to email me their photos. So I will be posting those on the Toy Riot Instagram at some point. Dates, we are looking at the first weekend of May again right now. We have not confirmed it with the venue, but it would be, I think it'll be May 1st and 2nd instead of 2nd and 3rd, but it's the first weekend of May. That is the plan for that. As far as next year goes, like what I would do, there were a couple of like small suggestions just about like minor tweaks in the layout that I think would be good. We definitely need to make the kit bash area larger. It was crowded. People had to wait. And so one of the things we had in the front room originally to fill that space was that I was selling like just collections from my like international bootleg toy collection. That's going to go. We'll probably put another table in there for kit bashing. Yeah, I can't, it's hard. Like, someone give us some some work we need to do, because everybody's like, oh, it's great. And I'm not saying that to be like facetious or ungrateful or even, arrogant. But we've received so much positive feedback. It would be nice to hear from people like earnestly if there were things that bothered them or like that they would like to see tweaked. Like, let us know, because we will listen and adjust. Yeah, and otherwise just more of the same. Like I said, if more people apply, and we want more people to apply, we do want to, sort of extend the invitation to anybody in the community. Do so, and then we'll figure out what that looks like once we see the numbers and stuff. Because I would rather say yes to everybody than have to make hard decisions myself, and that's the people pleaser in me.
Got to get this guy coming.
Yes, absolutely.
That's
the goal. That's the brass ring right now, is to get B on an airplane.
I think
special guest appearance,
brother. Yes, next year, man. And what I want to do, man, I want to do an episode from the show, dude. Like me and Crumbs, like walking around and just chatting everybody up, dude. Like,
and
fuck, man, I wanted to be there this year, dude. Shit.
We have that comfy seating area, so you could like hang out with artists and do stuff right there with the camera on the table, and just like hang out and do a little talk show. if you want.
Where was this big brain energy like 2 weeks ago? Come on.
Have
Dude,
you seen fuel prices, bud? My God.
Dude, when you start looking at the cost of flights, dude, like the excitement for being at the show goes away real fucking quick, and you're like, god damn it, dude, I don't know, like, am I just? I think my thought of what it would cost to actually be out there was way more than what I thought it would, but now I know. So now next year it won't be a problem.
Well,
Get
and at least
a
you didn't.
Kickstarter going.
What's that?
Get a Kickstarter going.
There you go.
I don't need a Kickstarter. I just need like a month to be like, hey, dummy, this is how much it costs.
Well, and just be glad that you didn't get so excited you booked a flight on Spirit.
Oh my god, dude, they got big
Shots
problems.
fired.
Well, I mean, they're not around anymore, bro. You
Yeah,
know
I
what's so
know.
funny, dude? Just a little side note on Spirit, dude. I have flown enough in the last 10 years with work to seen Spirit come and go.
Yeah.
What an absolute shit show! If anybody has ever flown Spirit and the stories that you hear from people that have actually been on Spirit, I've talked to plenty of people that have a flight delayed or canceled or whatever. Bro, what a circus! No shit, they're not in business anymore. That's nuts. Anyways,
I'm here. I actually have something. Speaking of future stuff, something that was talked about before. Crumbs, I just dropped a link in the private chat to show you about movement and changes that we're already making this week. And something
So
that
let's
might
say-
be of interest to some people. Yeah.
let's say people did have a suggestion for you, and it's all in the spirit of getting better, dude. I don't think anybody can knock the show, dude. I'm like trying to find a negative about the show. I really can't find one, at least from an outsider. Somebody wasn't there. I mean, from beginning to end. If somebody did have a question or a suggestion for you, dude, how would they go about that? Just DM you guys?
Yeah, DM the Toy Riot Instagram account. We also have email, torontotoyriot@gmail.com. You can get in touch with us through the website if you don't actually, torontotoyriot.ca. We have a newsletter too, so that's where all the news for whatever's happening is going to be. Is there a dead link there? Was that the shop all link? That was weird.
No. That was for the art toys. This
Oh,
is what
yeah.
they're
Because
doing
everything
right
else right now is blank. Yeah.
Yes. Everything's good. Sorry.
So, BP, you were asking before. Can you DM me your mailing address? Because we're going to send you a T-shirt.
Love that. Thank you.
Yeah,
In the most polite way possible. B's got a T-shirt and a tote in a box for him.
Oh, okay.
I got him covered.
Okay, thanks, Crumbs.
Thank you.
Should,
That was the first thing I did when I got in. I was like, sorry.
We should issue you a refund.
No.
You get credit. You get some credit.
Yeah, you'll get credit next year. You can get 2 free kit bashes.
Sweet. Hey, there's a good suggestion for you already. Negative thing from the show. It was in Toronto.
Oh, shots fired.
I think probably because they couldn't make it. I would agree. Just being selfish, I would agree. They also said Toys Alive table going to the table like wrestling announcers. I actually really like that. I really like that.
We have a stage too, so you could call them up and they can.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I like that.
But anyway, so that Outlaw Plastic Syndicate store is new as of today.
Sweet.
I have retired the Yo-Yodyne Toy Division store. And because I don't want to run more than one. But because we wanted to sell the Toy Riot t-shirts and the merch, and we might do I might do an online version of the Godzilla CN Tower, like a colorway or something.
Those great. Great.
They were so much fun. I'm gonna make more and just figure something out because they're really, really fun to do, and I think people really wanted them. It was really lovely to see, But so we were talking about this today after I set this up for the Toy Riot merch, and just like, Dominic and I have collaborated on some stuff, so this is a good place for us to sort of like, sell collaborations that we do together, or even just all of our work. We haven't really decided fully, but if and when I post work for sale online, which as we know has been over 2 years, I think at this point, it'll go there. But at least now we have like OPS presence and Toy Riot presence online with that identity, and I think that's important. So
Yeah.
So go get your t-shirts. We have plenty in sizes from small to extra large.
Sweet. Dirty Yeti trying to make it next year, man. That would be very cool.
That would be awesome.
He's up north. Yeah. Hell yeah. Nice.
Yeah, Detroit's super close, comparatively to a lot of other places in the States. Yeah. But yeah, for next year too, probably a new exclusive of some kind, new guest poster artist to be determined. We will always do that. Speaking of poster artists, can I just give another shout out to Edwin Salas?
And congrats to Edwin, man, on the sellout on those, dude. He had like a bin of those.
That's awesome, dude. That is very, very cool.
I'm very touched that he decided to sort of interpret this and do like it as an exclusive at the show. And again, right, that like the CN Tower is such a like a Toronto icon, and Godzilla is so much like it's so much fun that I'm really glad that he did that, and it really resonated with people. So
that's funny, dude. You said it was fun, and then Mecha Ducky commented that's so fun almost exactly at the same time. Yeah. Dude, all this being said, how do you one up this for next year, or do you just try to duplicate what you've done? I mean, it almost sounds silly to try to make it better, dude. I really can't see what would make it better, although I wasn't there. But going into it next year, I mean, what's the main focus, man? I mean, it's got to be to at least maintain, what you have here, which I don't think you're going to have any problem doing, obviously.
Well, I think it's important not to rest on our laurels and understand the work that we have done and will need to do again. Right? That's and if it's if it yields the same results, I think we would all be perfectly happy, and we would just say, hey, see you in 2028. Like, I don't think, and that's not to say maybe if something happens and we do end up taking lumps a little bit and it's not as, good as the first year, then I would imagine we would probably try again.
Sure.
There's definitely an appetite for it. So
that was feedback that a lot of people actually shared with us. Like, it's about time that this city had this here. There were a couple people I talked to who I spoke to, one of whom was like, it's so great to be able to buy your work and not have to buy it from Dove and have it shipped from LA. Like, sure. And that was really touching and a lovely thing to hear. Like, there were lots of people in the room who were like, I've been waiting for something like this. This is like, it's about time that this is here, and this is great. And so, and just, keep that. That's the thing. Like, if we can just bring the same energy next year, and the same sort of like sense of camaraderie and spirit, like, our work is done. I don't think that, like, again, I don't know. Maybe I'll think, more than just a few days out, but I can't think of anything that I would do differently except maybe put some canned air and dust out my hairdryer first. I don't think there's anything else. There are a few like very minor things. Like, one table was kind of underlit because of the lighting situation in the room, and we resolved that on Sunday by bringing that artist a lamp. Right? Like, we're like, oh, here you go. Yeah, this is what you need. Okay, no problem. But otherwise, I can't. Somebody suggested having someone there to tattoo, which could be fun if we found the right person. Yeah. Because I certainly have a thing for getting tattoos at toy shows, as people know.
I was going to say, speaking of that, that does seem to be like the little side event at most shows that I've been to. There's so many people out there tattooing. But I think that's one of the things that's really encouraging too, man. Like, I think we'd be having a different conversation if Sunday was slow or like the turnout wasn't quite there. But like, it's got to feel good, right? Like, not having to have that conversation and knowing that the energy is there and that next year it's probably going to be just the same, if not better. But I mean, God, dude, what a great start.
Yeah, because I got to say, at 11:30 a.m. on Saturday morning, I was fucking petrified.
Yeah, there was, it's a good problem to have, but being that busy though, there wasn't actually a lot of time to hang out. I did not make it to every table, which was a regret, like probably the only regret, but like not making it to see every artist. I didn't get to buy from everyone I wanted to. I didn't even get to chat with, a lot of the dudes that I normally talk to. It was just too busy, which again, good problem to have. But
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a great problem to have, man, for
yeah,
sure.
that would be one thing I would want to change, is just to have more hang time with everybody. But again, it's
Yeah, and one of the challenges that we came up against is it turns out that there was a documentary film festival, and the headquarters for that film festival is in a movie theater that's around the corner from the venue. So getting everybody together in a large group for dinner on Saturday night became a problem, and we had to split off into smaller groups.
Gotcha.
But one thing that we also did, we invited everybody. There's a big cafe bistro on the corner that has a giant outdoor patio. And even though it was a bit chilly for May here in Toronto, on Saturday morning at 10 a.m. before we went to the venue, we just invited everybody to come by, grab breakfast or coffee or whatever they wanted to hang out.
That bistro hated you guys. Just so you know, that you could tell the staff was so miserable, only because you could tell like they were not expecting to be nearly as fucking busy as they were. They probably had not staffed for it. They had their standard older crowd coming in, and then you could tell from all the colored hair and like eccentric like style of people, you're like, and there's all the toy folks, and you were not expecting to have almost double.
I mean, not everybody came. Like it wasn't
everybody was hitting that place all weekend.
Yeah, okay.
Those poor bastards were not prepared.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's a good point. Maybe we give them a heads up.
An artist organized victory dinner. That's interesting. I like that concept.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we were thinking about that. But I like the idea also of like the artist breakfast was like the official like off show event. Because we always, when we're in Asheville, we always just bump, like this past year, we just kept bumping into each other and going to the same place for breakfast all weekend together, right?
Yeah.
And it just became a thing. And then those people actually, the people who worked there got to know us and were like very fond of us and stuff.
Nice.
I like that about that. And I don't want to be over prescribed in doing events off schedule from like the actual show, because I want people to be able to self-organize a little bit. I just, I don't want to put those kinds of constraints on people and make, have them think like they're obligated to do a thing if they're too tired. Just be like, breakfast is good because we all got to get some fuel before the show. That one made sense to me. And anything else, it's like, stay or go. That is your decision. Most of us are probably going to try to do something together. And, but even then, like I found, like I tapped out way earlier than I normally do this time.
Plastic outlaws are going to do what they're going to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. But yeah.
See myself out.
Just gonna. Yeah. So in the near term, like I said, we've got the OPS page up and store up and running, and I'm catching up. I actually went around. And there's a weird echo. But I ran around on the weekend too with my digital SLR camera and took a bunch of like, I think nice photos. I haven't gone through them all yet. But we're gonna start sort of updating the website with documentation and the Instagram. And then probably within like, 3 or 4 weeks, we'll probably go dark until the fall. And then just start the process all over again for next year once we have a better idea of what that looks like. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I have a dissertation to finish now. That's what I'm doing for the rest of the
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
Different
kind of fun.
Talking to you.
Where'd Jay go?
Gonna put you on the spot, dude. While we've got you here, what were your top 3 favorite pickups from the show?
Ooh. Well, I pulled the trigger on. I don't want to get up because I'm wearing like really like awful like shorts. One that is within arm's reach. Here's 2 that I can grab. And then the third actually is on my desk, which I will show.
It's funny. My girlfriend was doing my laundry, and she saw my shorts very similar to that, and she was like, "You have shorts like this?" And I was like, "They're jammy shorts. Like,
yeah, they are.
Slack. I'm around the house. It's hot."
Yeah, and they used to be casting shorts, so the front is just covered in resin.
Yeah, resin, sure.
So these are in no particular order, and I don't know if anybody saw my haul post today, but I bought a lot of shit from people because the work was so good, and I really wanted to support everybody who was there. And so I bought this Common Rider from Edwin Salas.
Nice,
Oh, yeah.
dude.
Which is just gorgeous. It's my first wooden toy from him. I've been getting a lot of Mexican bootlegs from him recently over the years, but this is like, and some of his 3D printed stuff, but this was like, yeah, I had to get this. So there was that. Actually, I'm going to show 4 pieces because I think that'll,
by all means.
yeah. This was gifted to me by Caucasian Creations, which thank you very much. When I met them outside the venue, and it's like a faker Ewok with a little.
I saw
Dude.
that online, dude.
Yeah, I saw it online too.
Yeah.
I saw it online too, and I was like, "Oh, I
So
want to buy
good.
that from him." And then
So
I'm
good.
sitting down smoking outside, and he tosses me a bag and says, "Take anything you want," and that was in it. And I'm like, "Including this?" And he was like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Done." I hope Hereticus isn't watching because I had a huge conversation with him about this.
I kept missing it. Every time I would try and get to his table, somebody was there having to talk with him because his work's so unique that, of course, it would spark conversation.
Dude,
Yeah,
so
so
the metal ones?
Exactly.
Bro.
So I had a conversation with him about when I first saw them about how lovely they were, and I was like, "Do your blisters open?" And he said, "No." He's like, "The card art is really important to me." And I said, "I understand that, but boy, is there something about that particular toy that makes me want to hold it in my hands."
Yes.
And so we dropped him off at the hotel after dinner on Sunday night, and I was like, "I'm gonna open it, dude. I'm sorry." And he was like, "No," and I was like, respectfully, like, so. This is his Iron Giant Superman. And yeah, it's just beautiful. If you know the Iron Giant and like the whole thing with
Yeah.
the robot, the whole arc of the movie, and Superman like being sort of a metaphor for goodness in it, and then him doing this with this like just like rough hewn cotton like cape, just beautiful. And it was funny. I was with my partner Claire. Talking to Bereticus, trying to decide which one to get. And we started talking about the Iron Giant. And I started telling the story, and I was so tired and just so overwhelmed that I started crying. And so I was like, well, I got to buy the Superman one now. That was the whole, emotional connection. And I have one more that is not art. Actually, 2 more. Here we go. There's 5. These are just the ones that I can see that I've unpacked. I got this from Angry Bees.
Get your top 5. Sorry.
Okay. I got this beautiful, he calls it the Getaway, this resin cast palm tree from Angry Beast that I really like. It's just something about it. It comes apart, it's modular, it's like really great. Just the colors really pop. I have it sitting in my window, so it kind of like glows really beautifully in the morning. And then the last one is a Mexican bootleg that Edwin brought me that he had posted online for sale like a couple of months ago. And I was like, can you just hold on to that and bring that to Toronto for me? So it's your standard injection molded Motu. I'll do it like this. But then look at the head on this thing.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, that's a really sharp piece.
Yeah. And it looks like it was an elephant head that was like cut off of something else. Like there's some sculpting there, and then
oh wow, it's almost like a mask, dude. That's sick.
It's really rad. So that's what I would say were my 5. And again, there were like I got 10 photos worth of stuff this weekend, so that was just a brief taste. If you want to see the rest, people can just go look at my Instagram slideshow that I put up today.
What's up, Jay?
5? Oh man,
Welcome back.
That's hard.
So if you caught it, we were bugging you to grab 5 of your favorite polls that you ended up grabbing from this weekend.
Okay, I think so. I think I got it. So I got some fun fake name pieces here.
Those trolls, man.
Crazy glow, and the double cast troll is wow, it's phenomenal. These glide cooler pieces. The guy was just burning through, like his whole table was just filled and emptied quickly. So good, great sculpts.
Stupidly good table. They've evolved a lot in the last year too.
Oh yeah, these are they're so good, so good. Picked up alumni, Mr. Peen. Oh wait, there's his Peen. Again, just such a, I don't know. It's alumni, right? It's so good, so clean. Magnets.
Oh, nice.
Right?
Nice.
Black.
Yeah.
Yeah, fucking clack. Yeah, no damn.
Angry Beast, got to meet him finally, and got one of his. I don't remember the name of it. One of his muscle guys. Though I actually got two of them.
He the North.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Again, fantastic dude, and amazing pieces.
He may or may not have gotten a cease on those CN Tower heads.
What?
Well, I guess we're not using it for the poster art for next year like I want.
Caucasian Creations, although he didn't fend there. He did show up and he did have some stuff. And we did some trades and got a hand job from him. And one of his Motu bootlegs.
Ooh, I like that, dude. What is it? Show me that again real quick. Is that like a grayed out merman?
Yeah.
Ooh, I like that, dude.
Yeah, it's really good. You'll love his stuff, B. It's
dude. I like the
right
white eyes and mouth and shit, dude. That's fucking very cool, dude. I like that.
Yeah, he had a whole bag. It's right up your alley for sure. And then I was fortunate enough to do a trade with Roku. And,
nice, dude.
Yeah, Von Fake Name. He's my resin mule. He hauls all my shit across the country back and forth. So, yeah. So those are my. Again, there was a lot more stuff, and I didn't even make it to every table, and there was a lot more going on. But those are some highlights, anyways.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah.
I got stuff from like Zymot and LM9 and a bunch of Matt, and I kind of was just like, are all these particular configuration of humans going to be in the same room again? I don't know. I am getting everything that I want right now. Yeah,
that's the smart way to do it. That's for sure. No regrets.
Because we talk about when we're coming back from Asheville or Philly, and we'll be sitting in the truck, and like an hour into the drive, we'll be like, fuck, I should have got that thing from that artist that I wanted that I didn't. Now I really, and so, so I have adapted that, and I'm just being proactive. Also, I have serious issues with impulse control. Jay knows every
welcome to the club, buddy.
Every couple of hours I'll be walking around the show and I'll put my hand in the pocket of like my jean jacket and I'll be like, oh, what's that? And I'm like, oh yeah, I bought that. And then like, oh, what's this?
This one was hard though, because I remember even at one point I think I was talking to General Porpoise and he could see my eye and he was just like, go ahead, Crumbs. Because it's like you're trying to talk, but unfortunately you're like, and you're listening, and suddenly you're just looking across the table, and you start kind of bleeding into the next table, and you're just kind of like, 1 sec, so sorry, like I gotta go take a little peek over here for a second. Like it's hard. There's so fucking much, man. Even like you can't stay focused. Even Dre, it's like you're talking, and all of a sudden you see he's got the little Viking dudes, and you're like, how much for the Vikings? $5. You're like, all right, give me this fucking Viking.
His table was decimated by Sunday.
Good. Like in the best way though, right? Like that's what you want. Like hell yes, man. All right, gents. We're coming up to like a little over an hour now. Is there anything you want to get off your hands before we toss you into the way here?
Throw me out, Crumbs.
Yeah, I just once more want to say thank you to everyone who showed up for this show. Toronto Event Generator, who gave us a micro grant and sponsored the event with that. You guys for spending the time and energy talking about it and helping get the word out. Everybody else, obviously, Toys in the Basement. If you're not following them, follow them. They are a champion. Their videos are just awesome and energetic. Not just the toy ride videos, but their collection videos. They're really fun. They're way more dynamic than most collector videos. All the volunteers, all the artists, obviously, and the Outlaw Plastic Syndicate. Like working with these guys couldn't have been a better team where we filled in on areas of expertise or skills that each other needed to pull something like this off. Like that all kind of fit together. So yeah.
Awesome.
Hell yeah, man. There we go. I'm glad that they were mentioning the Outlaw Plastic Syndicate as well, man, because honestly, those three guys I think are more humble than they are coming off. I think they did a lot this past weekend, and Yo-Yo Dunn kind of mentioned it, but you see it firsthand when you're there, whether it be one of those three or whether it be one of the volunteers, somebody being like, hey, have you checked on the dudes in a bit? Have you made sure anybody needs any water? Do you mind making sure? You'd see some of the toy guys be able to come and maybe just grab a bag of chips off the table or something. They really did do their best to make sure that they were all looked after. Yeah, great guys, man.
Dude, understatement, huge understatement there, dude. I mean, the focus to the to make it as comfortable for everybody as possible, not only like monetarily, but just with other little things like that. Dude, that's special right there, man. I think that really makes a good show, especially when so many people in our community are a little bit of both as far as buying and collecting and an artist as
Yeah.
well in some way, shape, or form. And it's a good, I mean, you look at what everybody's talking about, dude, and it's like you guys were together for almost the whole weekend, and almost
Yeah.
the one thing that almost everybody said was, man, more time together would have been great, a little bit more time. Dude, maybe I really like that. I like that Saturday night dinner thing, dude. Maybe when next year comes around, dude, maybe that's something we can sponsor somehow, dude. I'm gonna work on that. That would be a fun one.
And the tough part too was I don't think any of us were really thinking reservation wise.
Sure.
If anything, hats off Doc Horror. It was funny Friday night because again, I don't think many of us even realized that people would be flying in early, right? Just didn't really think that way. So of course, Von Vickname and I were sitting here. We knew we wanted to do something for dinner. He was a little surprised nobody had reached out. He's talking to Doc. I'm talking to freaking Lauren and Kate Averano. And as soon as Doc Horror mentioned this place called Sneaky D's, it's basically like a grungy punk metal bar pub that has like huge variety of food, big tables if you want. So it was just kind of one of those things where it's like, okay, fuck it, that's where we're heading then, man. Like if Doc
Yeah.
suggested that, perfect. And then even when we got there, it was kind of one of those things where it was like, well, are we gonna stay here for a while? Or are we not? It was like, let's plant here. Anybody wants to come join, anybody can come join. If we miss them, we miss them. We're trying. It
Yeah.
I think we all did our best to at least make sure we exchanged phone numbers, had phone numbers, checked that people were actually having a place to stay, eating, etc. Yeah.
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 What a cool time, man. It makes you want to be a part of it, that's for sure. With everything described and everything that's going
I would
on.
hope.
And then just, like you said, that anytime you get that amount of artists, especially in a smaller scene like ours, and you see that concentration of them in one spot, dude, that's rare no matter what city that's in. You know what I mean? I think all the better that it's in Toronto, and kind of it feels like it should be. He's right, dude. Scott said Toronto needed something like that. And dude, it blows me away that there wasn't something like that. You know what I
So,
mean?
and I was trying to explain that to Doc Horror on the Friday night. I was like, dude, like the reality is that there's been eyes waiting for this to kind of happen because there
Yeah.
was the Toronto small little hubbub before COVID, but then otherwise, like there hadn't really been anything like this happening yet. So I feel like that's kind of why we ended up with a couple of the Americans popping over was definitely because they were kind of like about fucking time, dudes. Like nice to see this, and for them it's kind of the same
Yeah.
too. As much as we're like when am I going to be able to see someone like Edward Salas again and be able to buy us without shipping? They're thinking the same thing. They're like, wait a minute, I could basically knock like 5 or 6 of my favorite Canadian artists off my list by getting a piece off them. And then for half of them, they're like, I guess I'll see family while I'm down there.
Well, see, and that's what I'm thinking as a buyer or collector. First of all, it's seeing that many people that and you know or do know in the same place is always super cool, man. But then, just looking at it from someone who's just into buying this stuff, and we know how hard it is to get online sometimes, and we know how people don't do regular drops sometimes, or they do a drop and they sell out, or maybe you miss something along the way. But seeing that amount of artists, I mean, I'm looking at the list and going, damn, dude, look at all those people that are going to be in one place that I could buy from. And, some artists don't have a lot of stuff available online, and it's a trip, dude. Like, you go in and let's say, 4 years ago, you walk into Assembly Required, dude. 4 years ago, dude, like, were Swamp Things from One Trick easy to get 4 years ago? Absolutely not, dude. Like, you either got to be a family member or get on a waiting list or get something in a drop.
Even right now, not really, because again, I'm over here in Canada, so you guys post those video or whatever where it'll be going across this table at AR with all these Swampies. How often does he post a Swamp video or a post up for claim?
For sure.
And just because he and I are fucking under the table doesn't mean that I'm getting first dibs on every Swamp thing out there. You know what I'm saying?
It's shocking, dude, to walk up on a table and see all that stuff available. You're just like, holy shit, dude, there they are. And it's the same thing. Jonathan Queen at Assembly Required, dude, that stuff's really limited. And you walk up and there's a table full of it, and you're just like, fuck, man, that's all stuff. I mean, and that's all besides the point, dude. You know what I mean? That is almost like, of course, buying stuff and having stuff like that is very cool, dude. If you went there and you just walked away with a t-shirt and a bag and, whatever else, a little trinket or whatever it is, something that somebody made, and got to see everybody and just hang out and kind of be in that environment for 2 days, also worth it. Worth it, dude,
I do want to show this off because Grayskull had these. And I don't know how the hell these were made. I didn't even catch it until I got home and I was emptying out all my bags and shit. No, not that. Check this guy out though. It was in this little bag. Just these tiny little fucking like Godzillas.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And just had these just in a bag with like a couple playing cards, couple stickers, Toronto ones, his sticker. It's got his Grayskull resin cast there, like his logo.
Are those old school baseball cards in there?
Those are, yeah.
Wow. I can tell by the back of that one. I can tell by the back, dude. That's probably, if I had to guess, that's late 80s, early 90s Topps product you got there.
Oh my gosh. I did a quick flip through them, and you know what my little toy brand said? It said, sports. Here, for you, B. We'll do the flip through for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my Kevin Seitzer, bro. Nice.
Are you getting a nostalgia boner or something?
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Tom Glavine, baby. Look at that one. Nice.
Oh, look at that pose.
That's always pitching, dude.
Oh, look at that stash, bro.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I should have been looking through these. There's some gold in here.
Nice, dude. Nice.
But no, check that shit out. Actually, that's fucking fatty. Sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, there was a lot of stuff going on there, man, and admittedly, like stuff that I wasn't really expecting. Like Grayskull was saying, there was certain vendors like I actually just could not get to, man. Could not make my way to Edwin Salas's. Couldn't get into Baraticus from BC. Unfortunately, I know you've been there before, man. It's almost like 2 ships in the night. You keep trying to hit that table, and it's just there's always somebody there chatting or looking.
Isn't that funny, dude? I think that's one thing that I noticed too at the last AR that I was at was, as small as the room is, you realize that like, damn, dude, there's one little aisle of like 4 or 5 tables that I didn't even walk down.
And like a fool, like I said, dude, I would bring a backpack like a fucking idiot, obviously, and then you get down certain aisles and you're just in the way. Like you just can tell that you're too big for the aisle, and people are trying to get around you, and you're just like, crap. I did this to myself.
Dude, you know, when you started talking about the backpack, dude, oh my God. That's what, and when we were talking about the venue being at the hotel, dude, that's what one thing that I liked is because once you start putting stuff in the backpack and it starts expanding, then you're just in the fucking way. But having a little tote bag to put your stuff in, dude. I mean, from every aspect that we looked at, dude, it's just seems like such a win for everybody. I'm super happy for
It was
everybody who
sick.
got to experience that, dude. And congrats again to to Scott and Jay, man. Those guys and Dominic too, man. Those guys are fucking. That's a
Legends.
legit thing,
Legends.
dude. And I think this is something that you talk about growing legs, dude. I think the fucking legs are already there and like ready to
Well,
roll, man.
remember Dub said designer con first year, little room. Second year, expanded to that second room. Year 3, line up down the block, fire marshal telling them they couldn't be doing it, had to have fucking signs pointing people to a whole new fucking venue that they had to like it can happen.
For sure, dude. For sure.
Right.
Especially with nothing out there like that and getting more people involved as far as the crowd goes. The Kit Bash table, that's something that those people will remember and be like, "Oh man, remember last year they had that, you know,
Sick
shit."
ass kit bash table.
I'd be fucking walking around asking, "Hey kid, how much you want for that, dude? That's a pretty cool fucking Kit Bash you got there, bro."
B's just watching the kit bash table all day. That's fucking
Taking notes. Yes, I like that. I like what you've done there.
jeez, man. Yeah,
Uh,
I don't want to hold everybody up all night, but I am gonna show a couple of
yes, please do,
things that
dude.
were acquired just because there were a couple that honestly they even caught myself off guard, if I'm being honest with you. One of which is gonna be like, I'll show this one first. So this really threw me off, man, and I'm gloving up like a little perv for it too. Um, they're those cheap friggin' examination gloves, but they're not the kind you can nicely snap. They're not what's that called, nitrile. They're just
Yes.
latex free and powder free examination gloves. But
Okay.
this really threw me off because, of course, first day I'm seeing Super Terrible and Kate Alvarado, and I'd purposely casted something separate for them, and I bump into them, and Kate Alvarado's like, "I've got something for you, but I need to make sure that like you've got a way of holding it when I get it to you." And like, look at that fucking thing, man. So, and then this goes for actually like everybody, yourself included. So the title of this piece is Get Lifted, which for all you stoners out there, yeah. But also, sorry, at the back it says, thank you for your time each week talking about toys and putting yourself out there into the world. It's scary and you do it anyways. Cheers. And for me, that's like that goes for like all the dudes that ended this weekend, everybody who posts their freaking toys up and everything. But I thought this was really sick, man. Admittedly, as a big Swamp Thing fan, even those like bottom parts, I can't help but think of one of those big leaves. Of course, it's not going to escape me. Not fawn, like a fan leaf style.
Like a fern.
There we go. Thank you.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Kate ended up dropping that on me, which I thought was absolutely freaking gorgeous. And then
Very cool.
Tone, dude, the guy is fucking hilarious. So when he was at AR, I guess he had grabbed a couple of things, and it was like he knew but didn't know. So the first thing he lays on me, he's like, I don't know if you know this guy, but I saw this and thought of you. And I was like, dude, that's fucking the diner tree trunk monster. I actually collect those. I don't know how you didn't know, but knew. So he grabs me that guy. And then he's like, also, I found this weird Hedora and I thought of you immediately. And same fucking thing. I was like, dude, that
What?
Hedora is actually the lava monster bootlegged from the D&D fucking swamp thing, basically, like the swamp monster. And a Hedora head has just been refitted, I suppose, kit bashed on there in a way where now, like, and dude, I've got like 40 of the fucking OG ones of this.
Yeah.
But sure as hell don't have a freaking Hedora headed one. So it's just one of those things where you're just like, man, like for Tone to be like, I saw these at AR, thought of you, brought them down here. Here you go. You're just like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And these trolls by Von Fake Name, this guy like knocked it out of the park, man. He's sitting in my kitchen making these up.
Mm.
So the bodies on these like because they're obviously double casted. But that inside skeleton one that he's carved, he didn't even just blackwash that. He massaged the black resin into it, and
Wow.
then double casted it, and then cut all the fucking troll hair and glued them on there, and the axe just fits perfectly, man. It's just like, and the glow on those freaking things, because of course being Von Fake name, and I know the boys were talking about Gladghoul earlier. Okay, I can't get enough of this. So picture like first time I see this guy tabling with a bunch of the toy dudes. Still fun, but this was like the work he was putting out.
Mm.
This year, the fuck,
Oh, wow.
bro!
I did see those online, dude.
$10 a figure.
$10?
I don't know what was. I literally kept on even thinking to myself like, that can't be for every figure. But for some reason, this table said $10 each figure, and you're just
Wow.
like,
What is that, dude? Is that resin? What is that?
it's just a resin casted, painted freaking dude, man.
Nice.
And his sculpts have gotten so fucking good.
Oh, nice, dude. I like that. Is that
Like
is that blue with a black wash? Is that what we're seeing?
just a blue with a black wash, and it just fucking
Nice.
pops, man. The sculpts on these were
I
just
really like that sculpt, dude. That's
dude,
nice.
just brilliantly done. Even I think Grayskull had one of these guys, yellow cast with just a red wash on it.
Mm,
Get out of here.
yeah.
Like they're fun, they're easy. Like I bet they pour nicely because of the shapes and stuff. Like seeing that evolution was just absolutely fucking insane. Von Fake named the day that he's about to take off. He's like, yo, Rakoma Shoe
Oh god, I have that exact same one, dude.
wanted me to make sure you got a fucking
Nice.
Phantom Zero.
Hell yeah.
You're just like, you fucking toy dudes, man. Constantly just doing, and then like, man, lucked out with that guy because of course has this fucking rad ass scorpion dude that just happens to be in the colors I'm a fan of. So you're like, okay, deal, will do. Kevy Cold Cuts had this on his table, and unfortunately, I couldn't even actually maintain contact and like conversation because when I saw it, I was like, I need that, my friend. But this was the base for it.
Ooh, nice.
Get out of here.
Nice, dude.
Like, of
Yeah.
course, corner of my eye to see this green dude standing on this freaking swampy base, red eyes. I'm like, yeah, I know who that is. Come on, get out of here, man. Kevy Cold Cuts, dude. Just his table was really fucking fun, really packed full. His Turtle Showdown piece, so much bigger
Oh,
than you'd
wow.
expect,
Yeah.
man.
Mm-hmm.
Just popping on that table. The leather fucking cutouts. Like even the chick was just like, is that also freaking the plating? And I was like, no, that's just freaking paint apped that way.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, yeah.
And then of
Dang.
course, Grayskull, you've seen his kaiju guys, but he had these freaking Reapers on
Oh,
his table.
nice, dude. What is that made out of?
Yeah. Okay, so this Reaper is a clear cast with a whole bunch of little skeleton like souls in it and shit. But then
Oh.
check that tight ass paint app, man.
Well,
Stupid.
fuck you, Jay, for not having those at the last show, buddy. Only for the Canadian guys. Huh? I see what's going on there, pal.
He had some with like this really nice color changing blue. He had some with black on there. This was the only one that I saw at the time that had all these little skeletons cast inside there. But the fact that he still ended up banging out the face paint app on there, the wash is perfect on there, the eyes on there, the teeth. He just absolutely crushed it. Fucking our boy Dre. Now with these, man, like And what's funny is he had the Ninjagos, but Von Fake Name and I were sitting there before he went home, and we're chatting about them. And Dre was telling him that like this one here, the sculpt is supposed to be more like a November pumpkin, so it's like the rotting inwards. We're hopefully gonna see a couple more of those Ninjagos and different weaponries.
Yeah, dude. And I saw those on his table. And now that you're holding them, dude, the scale's way bigger than I thought they were.
That was exactly what I said about them as well, man. When
Yeah.
you look at the Ninjagos, oddly enough, your brain wants to think they're like army man size, but they're like 3 inch, almost all 3.5 inches. Like they're actually pretty big, man.
Yeah.
And there's something about, I don't know why, knowing that there's different weapon versions just kind of creates that excitement more where you're just like,
Oh,
oh,
for sure.
dude, now you need an army of them. Like, how do you not have an army of them?
Well, and for, and that's a great point, dude, because I'm kind of getting to the point where I like to have one sculpt of each thing as opposed to,
Many
one
colors.
sculpt and then fucking 87 versions of that one. But that
Yeah.
right there with a different weapon, dude, I like that. I like that stance overall, dude. That's my favorite. That's my favorite. One of my favorite poses, I think. That I've seen him do is there's like a lot of action in that pose. You know what I mean? That's
Dude.
super cool.
Well, and I don't want to give it away in case they're gonna be surprises. So I don't know if he told Von Fake Name the other ones. Yeah, 2 more coming. So I'm not gonna give away what I've been told, but like you said, a lot of action in these poses. I even actually really love that with this one here. It could have gone at the typical like wielding up here, but I love that it's more with the samurai down low, like gunning position.
Mm-hmm.
And like that nice touch with just the little jack-o'-lantern paint up on like the sword attachment there.
Yeah.
It's
Nice, dude.
Stupidly good, man.
Very
And
cool.
I think probably one of the last things I'm going to show off here tonight is actually, no, 3 more things actually. Sorry.
Okay.
So these guys, Nugs. So Nugs, they do everything hand done, like Fimo. So instead of doing molds and casts of things, they actually like hand sculpt individually. And their table had like a shit ton of unique different guys on there. But here in Toronto, you know what a raccoon is, right?
Yes, sir. Of course.
Okay. So here in Toronto, raccoons are, of course, quite prevalent. I've got to give this, I think they're a brother team. Either way, they're a duo that seem to do these. And they are great salesmen. I will say that. The gentleman who was working the table, very Pikmin-esque, suspenders, a hat, bright colored, like done up dress shirt. Everything on their table, he would be like, "Oh, check out these ones over here." And you're just like, dude, I'm in my 30s. Like, I appreciate the enthusiasm and the play and the shit, and I would tell him, I'm like, dude, you're killing it, homie. Like, that's the kind of energy you have to have when you're doing this shit all day for 2 days, right? So this one here, even on the back, like, they used to just want your garbage, but now they want it all. And so it's called Trash City. It's got all these like little individually sculpted and not casted, sculpted raccoons that are actually just like eating away at this Toronto landscape and stuff. So that I thought was absolutely brilliant. And I've mentioned Mad Mod Poet God. So when I first moved down here, I've mentioned I went down to the collective and bumped into this gentleman. We ended up doing a little toy swap, and he kind of told me about the Toronto scene and all that jazz. And he normally does more 2D work. He was supposed to join us, actually. Terry was supposed to join us last week and didn't get a chance to, but he actually ended up producing his first toy.
Oh, wow.
So, of course, I had to get my hands on that. And I know that he's drinking from a beaker, but I like to pretend that he's just hit a big old bong toke, and that's why he's holding that cookie there as well. But he really went all out, considering this was like his first time doing a toy. He did all the paint app on there and designed like this whole backer and everything.
Wow.
He really went above and beyond, man. Mad Mod Poet God. So again, considering that normally he's like 2D, I think from this show, it's one of those examples where we see like other artists really want to shine and come out of their normal shell and make something that they might not normally make. So yeah, I definitely thought that was something. Even again, given like the history that I have with that individual, that was a piece that when I saw that they made that toy and it was like their first toy, it was like, yo, I've got to grab one of those. Terry's a fucking gem. Yeah, needed to have that. And there was one more. Oh, how could I forget? So Grayskull, that motherfucker, man. I
Oh
see
yeah.
him, and he ends up telling me that he's got a bag of molds for me. One of them, the moment I popped it open, so the last time I saw Grayskull, he was like, "Hey, Crumbs, come over here. I've got one of these for you. I heard you like this guy, so I got one of these for you." He just hands me this. This time around, gives me a mold. I get home, dude. The moment I popped it open, I saw this stupid like hand that this guy has. I knew. So of course I had to cast one up, and it gives me a fucking tree trunk monster mold. And I was already like, "Oh, you son of a bitch!" But then I see on one of the molds it says LP Dog, and the other one says Postman. And right away my brain was like, "Dude." Ends up giving me the mold for the Little People dog. And so, of course, I've already had to cast up a black and white one of that guy. But then a little the postman has the ball cap as well. So now I get to have this little duo set that for anybody who knows anything, it's just a fucking nice little set that I'm very stoked to have, man. And I can't understand, like, you know, this scene, I can't understand the kindness and generosity and I don't know even the word for it, because they retain things, man. They retain things that I wouldn't even, we say it in passing or we say it on an episode at one point, and all of a sudden for some reason their brains remember and they might not even realize it's such a big deal, but you're just like, dude, like, look at the fucking size of that guy's nose. That's not a dog. That's a pig. Eat shit.
For sure.
So yeah, it's just one of those things where you're just like, come on, man. The tree trunk monsters, the swamp things. You're like, how do you dudes know? For fucking Ashley Kate Alvarado, that fucking drawn piece. You know what I mean? You're just like, dudes, come on. Also, craziest thing in the world, man. Sadat just happened to be. I told you I had to do dinner with my mother. She was getting nervous about where she had to be the next day to get on some train and all that business. No worries. We'll walk the thing, right? Who happens to be taking the fucking train to be heading to their flight? Sadat. Out of nowhere, you're suddenly introducing your mama bear to the freaking Sadat.
Nice.
Sadat's missus. Sadat's newborn baby.
Nice, dude. And that, I think when Grayskull said, there was a lot of magic that happened to kind of make things line up. I agree with that too, man. But I think on the other hand, dude, I think that it was just so well organized and it was in such a good location that, and obviously the people wanted it there. I think there's a lot of stuff there, man. We're like, yeah, there was some stuff that probably lined up just right that they had no control over, but besides that, man, I mean, like,
dude,
that is a successful show, dude. Yeah.
The Cherry Blossom Festival was this past weekend. There was a marathon this past weekend. There was a tattoo convention this past weekend. Like, there really was reason for there to be a lot of hubbub, so to speak.
Now, from living in Toronto, is that typical for that kind of year, or for this time of year, for there to be like a lot of events, or is that kind of like how Toronto is all year round?
No, that was, it just kind of happened.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure, again, dude, and I said it, I'm not as immersed as someone like Yo-Yo Dine, LM9. If anybody wants to ever come to Canada and have like a fucking itinerary of the places to go, things to do, I'm not the one to hit up.
Well, not for that stuff. There's other stuff
Not
where you
for
could
that
be
stuff. I'll tag
whole lot of help.
along. I'll tag along. Yeah, feel free to hit me up. I'll tag along, but I'm not the one with the pointers and the knowledge of what's going on there.
Yeah.
You know who was there and actually and he had this. He was handing these out, man. Brilliant dude. Very on brand with Angry Beast, but he had his 10 men. This was fucking brilliant, dude. So for the show, he had 10 men that were all crossed in like a row at the top of his booth, and he was giving these out all weekend. And these are basically explaining there are many types of men in this world. Here are 10 of them. Feverishly made in one man's basement, each of these 10 men are unique and special. What makes them a man? In this case, resin, cloth, paint, sparkles, scraps, and other odds and ends. Each man has many layers. Each man is imperfect. Each man is fragile. 10 men. And then gave fucking write-ups
Wow.
for each and every one of the 10 men that he had on display at the show.
That's super cool though, dude.
Look at this freaking brilliant, stupid idiot right there. Just holding a stick and a pile of sticks in like the most brilliant way possible, obviously. I'm not saying it like in a mean way.
Yeah.
His booth was freaking hilarious. Spot on, as always. Yeah.
Nice. I like that, dude. Very cool. That's a nice little addition, dude. I don't think I've seen that at a show before, but man, dude, I think the last time that he put on a show, didn't he? There was some sort of paper goods.
He did, yeah, like a little flippy. I've got one of those for you for your box as well. It's
sweet.
The
Nice, dude.
Hard Men Soft Goods, and then he
There you
also for his one of his arborist drops. He also did a little pamphlet for that too to showcase all of the arborists that were in that final drop.
You're right, dude. I did see that.
Oddly creative individual. Like he flies under the radar. He's got a great porno stash. Yeah. Funny
those
guy,
last few
man.
pieces that he had advertised for the show, dude, are really cool, dude. I really like those. We talked about those before, but those are nice. I like those.
Yeah. He had those. He had it was so tempting, dude. He had one Zeno, the rock-headed one. Zeno game, I want to say. The rest was the rock-head. He said he found it in the bottom of miscasts. He said he loved the pour on it. The only issue was he sanded the feet too short. So he had recently added two little like rubber nubs basically to the heels. Stands perfect. He was like, the pour is just so good on it. I couldn't not put it out and see. And you're looking at it being like, I know you've retired that figure. I'm like the fact that exists because you were basically going through your scrap bin and decided it looked so good, dude. Give him a chance. It's like, all right, drop the drawers. Like, fuck, man.
Shit.
Anyways, you got anything you want to show off? Get off your chest?
I don't, man. That was I didn't have anything specifically because I knew that this was going to take the majority of the time. And it was great, dude. Yeah, dude. It was really that was I think everything that I was hoping it would be and more. Lots of good detail, lots of good pieces showed off. Man, dude, it like I said, dude, it makes you want to be a part of it. You know what I mean? And I hope that this show brings even more people next year, and the people who went this year return next year because it's like a really, really cool fucking thing.
I'll admit, even myself, I'm sitting in there going, well, next year if I tabled, I'd have an excuse to be there all weekend. Even if I have like one or two things,
And that's the thing, dude. Like, don't you want to go? I'm like, dude, you need someone to help set up tables? Yeah, whatever, dude. Like, I'll be in town and we'll just whatever you want me to do, dude. And I think there's so many people that are in line to do that. I mean, fucking A, dude. The first of many, I hope. Let's say that.
That's all we can hope for, man. All right, let's let these yahoos get on with their night then.
Yes, real quick though, dude. I don't know if I will not be here next week. I don't know if you were going to be here next week or we were going to take a week off, but we're going to come back strong, the two of us, on the following week. I believe that we're going to do a recap of the 2-Up show. So that'll be that'll be another mega show, man. That'll be a really, really fun one. But thanks for tuning in tonight. Thank you, dude. That was a great fucking report of that show, man. Very well done. Thank you.